Hello and welcome to Auntie Martha's vlog. Day 2 on the 90-day journal. We do take off a day off for Sabbath, so that's what was going on with yesterday. But I just wanted to give you an update on what I did in terms of my personal and professional working towards those goals. So personally, I woke up a little bit later than I intended to. So maybe about 2.5 hours later. So I woke up at 7:30. The aim, remember, is 5 a.m. I'm going to try again tonight, but I did do all the night rituals, the meditation, the reading of the Bible, and all of those things, as well as making sure I got all of kind of the mindset work in with success and positive motivation and affirmation. So it is about a week now into this, but second day of journaling it. So the other thing in terms of the professional, I think I had mentioned to you guys that I was going to get a couple new kind of from the insurance side, which is my profession, sales calls and a couple new lines of business. And one of them, I was talking to my partner, and it looks like I can begin as early as tomorrow. So I do have an AM to afternoon meeting situation in Bellevue, but I am excited to at least get a few calls in before the end of the day tomorrow. Not probably going to get as many as I wanted, but on Wednesday I plan on getting my first full day of 25 calls in. So that's that on that kind of line of business or line of income stream. But I have gotten some, feedback and some comments on the social media posts about my goals and some promising leads on helping to get there without having to do a lot of extra work, which is what we all love, right? So, try and take advantage of all the great information I've been getting from coaches and the podcasts about working smarter and not harder, while still, looking less at obstacles and focusing more on opportunities. And with that being said, I was doing some of that kind of mindset work yesterday, and I ran across a great quote by Tony Robbins that I'm sure you guys probably have heard about. Tony Robbins is an amazing speaker, inspirational. I really encourage anyone to hear about some of his struggles when he was making his way up in the sales space. And wow, I just been emotional hearing some of his stories. So, but one of the great quotes that I just wanted to share with you that kind of made me make a complete 360 in my approach is on his quote on resourcefulness. And he basically said, it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness that stops you. And, I hear this time and time again. And like I said, I'm guilty of the same kind of frame of mind where when someone proposes going a certain direction or, doing what you're saying you want, which could be business ownership or your side hustle, in terms of the hobbies and interests you have, we all kind of are guilty of thinking of what keeps us from doing that at some point in our lives. And so as far as we'll often say things like, oh, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. So those are the two biggest obstacles. And I do totally appreciate that, people have families and, careers that are demanding, and, after school activities, and, the list goes on, and I can totally appreciate it. And then of course the money situation is another obstacle. But, after reading that quote, even though I think coaches have tried to, or mentors in the past have tried to gently say the same thing to me, essentially, but seeing it in black and white resonated with me. And it was the first time I realized, like, why am I not doing things differently? Like, who told me that there's only one way to make money, or one way to make time, basically? I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways, I started realizing he's right, and I have to make some changes. If it's worth it, I'll make it happen. And it may not be as quick as I want, but there's a lot of ways to make money. And I'm not referring to the legal ways, but there are a lot of ways to make money. And, again, it's a matter of how resourceful are you? And, it's funny because, paying for college and in grad school, I was always a research assistant, and I could be resourceful for other people, and I could be resourceful for certain things for myself. But when it came to making money, I feel like I've always been kind of like a deer caught in the headlights. Like there's only one or two ways, and I couldn't see past, I think, my own beliefs about how it should operate. And then, yeah, I mean, I think that we all have a hustler inside of us, and if one thing isn't working for you, or one hustle isn't working for you the way you thought it was going to work for you, it's time to cut it loose. It's time to find something else. It's time to find multiple other things. Again, as long as you're able to get, understand what is an immediate need and what is more of a long-term or intermediate need, and how to allocate your time appropriately. But I get what my coaches and mentors have been trying to tell me, like I said, gently more. And, to each his own in terms of how long it takes you to process certain messages, or how many times you need to make the same mistake before it's enough. And I think, I have a girlfriend named Brandy, or a good friend, and she, has this saying where she said it's, for everybody to get to the point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I think, hopefully you can get to that point before it's too late in some regards, before we pass on to the next world. So I'm really blessed with, all of the people in my life that have come in my life. Like they said, some people come for a season, some people come for a reason. And, I'm very happy, that I can now appreciate that, there are opportunities. And when I hear people saying the same things that I've said about, oh, it's too difficult, it's just, I get where you are. But I also understand nothing changes unless you're willing to change. And, we need to start thinking like, my recruit told me, he used to say it all the time, you can let your struggle be your obstacle, or you can let it be your reason to push yourself harder. And that might be more hours after work, That might be taking risks when you're not used to taking risks. And sometimes it means being creative in how you get the funding. And, you know, I do believe the ambitious person ends up, you know, winning the prize. And again, it's usually never when you think it's going to happen, but I see plenty of very smart, credentialed, or whatever you want to say, people that, you know, lack ambition and yet comfortable and don't or feel restricted and don't push themselves to be uncomfortable and to be continually uncomfortable and to be persistent. And it's all the same things that made you a success and allowed you to achieve everything that you've achieved. It's going to be the same thing that gets you to the next level, where you can write your own ticket and you can, you know, basically pave your own way and decide what you want to do and how you want your workday to be like. And no, it doesn't come easy. That's why so many people do fail. But, you know, that 10% or that 15% that make it, you know, can often make it big. And there's very few people that bring up, you know, Bill Gates' early failures or Steve Jobs' early failures, right? Once you reach a certain level, and, you know, it could be a millionaire status, but once you reach a certain level, it's amazing how all the bad things just get erased. And people seem to think you just made it to where you were, and you were always like born with a silver spoon in your mouth or something. So, and you know, it is what it is. But I've seen enough people who make it, and I can see and get a chance to talk to them, and they're real people who went through real struggles. And their most defining characteristic is their persistence and willingness to be flexible in the face of adversity. So, much kudos for everyone again who has helped me and been patient and mentored and coached and believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. So until next time, I hope you guys have a blessed evening. Take care.